excited for our last session of the day, y'all. Oh my gosh, I can't believe we have this privilege of having the ColorStack student panel. Today it will be guided through, facilitated by our very own ColorStack team member, Liana. So I'm gonna pass it over to Liana. Y'all have a great time and I will see you later.
Woo! Thank you so much, Michelle. All righty. So, as our last Fan Friday of this year, oh man, okay, there we go. Last Fan Friday of the year, we are going to be talking about self care. If you guys don't know, as Michelle Donna just said, I'm Liana. I'm the partnerships coordinator. And as we approach the winter break, a time filled with deadlines and responsibilities, we want to underscore the significance of just utilizing this period for self care and rejuvenation. Our student panelists are not just sharing their experiences, they're also offering valuable insight into how they prioritize their mental health, especially during this well-deserved breaks. Backstage, I was just telling everyone that during this time, I'm really open about my mental health, and so I struggle with seasonal depression from time to time. So I actually have been taking this very seriously. I started using what is it, vitamin D during the time. So I'm really excited to hear how our panelists and how some of our students and how you guys really combat this time and make sure that you're still taking care of you. And before I introduce our lovely panelists, I'd like to share this quote to ground us in this space. So, self care is giving the best of you instead of giving what's left of you. So without further ado, let me introduce these panelists. We have three great members with us right now. The first one up is Olabanji Fabuesa. He goes by Banji, and he is a senior attending Rutgers University. Shout out Rutgers in New Brunswick. He majors in computer science and is very interested in the field of software development and product management. When he's not studying or coding, Banji enjoys spending time in the gym. And fun fact, he can bench 295 pounds. Bro, let me know when we can get in the gym together. Like, I actually lift 24. I'm lifting today, so let me know. What you call it? Next up, we have Bridget Dua. Bridget is a senior at Smith College studying computer science with a passion for software development and a newfound interest in machine learning. When she's not studying, Bridget enjoys leisurely walks in pleasant weather, accompanied by upbeat rhythms of Afrobeats. I know that's right, girl. And last but not least, we have Chelsea Manning. Chelsea is a second year student at the Georgia Institute of Technology, where she majors in computer science and minors in Spanish. So cool. Currently, she's interned on campus as a software engineer intern and supports Georgia Tech's infrastructure and sustainability department with automating office tasks, leading intern teams, and building a chatbot system for their customer service team. Chelsea, you do it all, girl. Like that's clearly what I'm reading here. So without further, let's dive right into this panel. And my first question will actually be for you, Chelsea. So Chelsea, as you reflect on your journey in computer science, how do you personally prioritize self-care amidst the academic and career demands?
So I'm the type of person that likes some structure in their daily schedule. So I made a list of things I want to do in a week, and I altered my schedule to include some self-care activities. For example, during the school year, I woke up at 5 a.m. this entire semester to go to the gym, and I made sure to make room in my schedule for this Monday through Friday because it's something I like doing, and it was also something very beneficial for my health, both mental and physical well-being. I also implemented a night routine where as soon as I showered every night, I didn't do any more school for the rest of the day. I would make tea, I would write my journal, meditate a little bit, and then go to sleep. So I think making some sort of routine or structure to my weekly schedule really helped me prioritize my self-care during the school year.
Absolutely, absolutely. Chelsea, that's literally what I have to do now. I'm like waking up at 10 and I'm like, I know I need to be a 5 a.m. girly. It'll change my life, but I'm going to pull some inspiration from you as I try to do that because 5 a.m. is tough, especially during the winter time. Like, in the winter time, how do you combat that?
Well, I'm Canadian. I was originally from Canada, but I moved to Atlanta when I was younger. So the cold doesn't bother me. I actually prefer the cold weather, but I also scooter to the gym. So it kind of cuts down my time I have to be outside.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's awesome. And Bridget, so practicing self-care is often easier said than done. In your experience, why do you think it can be hard to take care of yourself?
So me personally, I think it used to be my mindset about self-care. So I felt like if I wanted to achieve something, then I have to keep working until I achieve the thing before I can take care of myself. So I feel like even if I take time off, I'll still be thinking of the things I need to do. So I couldn't really concentrate of like taking care of myself and also compare myself to others. So I might be in the library taking a break and I tell other people and I'm like, oh, do I also have to learn? Am I wasting my time doing like watching a movie or like listening to music?
Yeah.
They also have to learn. I feel like, and then that turned out, I wasn't really intentional about taking care of myself. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do this work. And then if I have this time left, then I'll watch a movie. If I have this time left, then I go to the gym. So I was like if I have a time left, then I take care of myself. So if I don't take care of myself. I think like
Mm.
and most people can really relate to it. Like being a student, like having a lot of things to do. If you put it in that way, like you never really have time to take care of yourself.
For sure. Bridget, I think you made a really great point of just making sure that you're prioritizing yourself as much as your schoolwork and everything else you have to do, because you're just as important as everything else that's going on in your life. And that time, like you said, to watch a movie and stuff like that, that could help you, that could be the rest you need in order to catapult you into actually like studying. Because sometimes if you study for too long or if you're doing too much of one thing at one time, you can get really tired of it. So really, really appreciate that. You guys are teaching me so much already. I need to like start implementing all of this into my life. Vanji, I'm moving over to you and just asking, with the winter break approaching, can you share some specific self-care practices that you find effective in recharging and maintaining a healthy balance?
Yeah, some of the self care practices that I do are hanging out with my friends, going places like traveling to New York City. I like to do that like almost like every 2 weeks or every week during the break.
Nice.
And also like going to the gym with my friends. It's a good way to relieve stress. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Like nice. And where was like your favorite place that you've been able to travel to?
Like out of state
Hmm.
or I'd say probably Florida. I like going to Florida.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, I need a trip to Miami just to cleanse my soul every once in a while. I really feel you.
Yes,
Bridget, I'm going back over to you. And so outside of academic pursuits, do you have any creative outlets or hobbies that you engage in order to recharge?
Um, so for me, this year I started going into crocheting. So when I'm free, I try to crochet. And also I started doing makeup this summer. So I feel like
Nice.
I'll just be sleeping like, okay, let me just go and dip my face a little. So just like trying to find new things. Like those are like the currently new two new things I do for this year. But I also like have a show I watch on Netflix and then also listening to music when I'm studying.
Nice. Literally, so back in the day, I used to be a makeup artist, and before I would like go shower at night, I would always do like the craziest eye looks or like practice anything. And I didn't realize how much of it was a form of self-care before now. Like I'm trying to get back to it now because it's like just having that moment with yourself to just practice something or just, really, it's a form of therapy for me. So I really feel you. That's so cool. Chelsea, what about you? What are some creative outlets or hobbies that you engage in order to recharge?
Well, this kind of like bridges between like academics and personal, but I've been studying Spanish for like the past 6 years. So outside the classroom, I listen to a lot of Spanish music. I watch a lot of Spanish TV shows. I have to talk to my friends in Spanish sometimes. And then apart from that, to game, spend time in the gym. I do a shopping with my mom on the weekends. So
Nice.
yeah.
I love it. I love it. Okay, and so Chelsea, I am gonna actually stay on you, and I just wanted to know, the winter break kind of brings this like mix of relaxation and familial or career driven responsibilities. How do you set boundaries during this time? And I'm actually gonna pose this to the entire group. How do you guys set boundaries during this time to ensure that you guys get the rest that you need without compromising or on any of your other tasks?
Well, I don't plan to do any like career things over this break because I do need to recharge. As far as family responsibilities, I just have a lot of shopping to get done since Christmas is coming. So just spending a lot more time with my family, those kind of things. And then if I have any other responsibilities in my day to get done, like I'm still interning right now. So
Yeah.
I just make a rough draft of like what my day might look like in my head. And then whatever parts I have like free, I'll just make sure to spend time with my family here or like go spend time with my friends here, stuff like that. So things
Yeah,
like that.
definitely. Something that I'm trying to put into play is just like, just because it's free on my schedule doesn't mean I'm actually free. So like not
Yeah.
utilizing every single moment throughout my day. Bridget, what about you? How do you set boundaries during this time in order to ensure that you're not compromising?
So as Chelsea said, I feel like having set time for different things. So for
Mm,
me, we have like the winter break and also have like J term to take classes if you want to take. So I'm planning on taking like this time, like the winter break to like just relax and like not do anything. And over the J term, I'm taking any academic classes so I can focus on my project. So like having like the whole week for myself to recharge for like the J term and like the next semester too.
I love that. Absolutely. And Bonji, do you want to answer that same question?
Yeah, similar to what Chelsea has said. Pretty much, this semester was really busy. Didn't have much free time, so just gonna take like a couple weeks to recharge, not really do anything, and
Yeah.
then after maybe make a schedule about like what I want to do for career things, such as like projects or like practicing coding, like lead code, and
Yeah.
maybe like preparing for interviews and things like that.
Absolutely. I'm literally on the same page as you guys. I was just telling the team, I'm like, during this winter break, I think I'm just going to be horizontal and mute the entire time because it's just so nice to not have to worry about anything and just making sure that I'm carving out time to just kind of recharge as we go into the new year. And so as we're approaching the end of the year, it's like usually a time for reflection. So, Bridget, how do you reflect on all your achievements and personal growth throughout the year? And how does this kind of reflection contribute to your well being?
So I think outside of my career achievement and my academic achievement, I think one thing that I really planned for this year was to have like a lot of alone time for myself to like personally like learn who I am, like learn what works for me. So I think like for this year I've been able to achieve that and also trying to like not waiting for my friends to like plan social activities. So like also like
Mm,
trying to plan the activity which I've been able to do a lot during this semester.
yeah.
And I think also last year, like last recruiting season, I was like putting so much of like all of my time trying to like learn for interviews. But like this year, even though I learned for the interviews, I also like try to prioritize like my self care and like try to take breaks, try to like go out often, has
Yeah.
really helped me like during this tough time.
Absolutely. I'm a firm believer of like just celebrating your wins and really taking time to kind of reflect throughout the year. Chelsea, I'd love to throw this question over to you, especially because you have so much on your plate all the time. How do you take this time for just like reflecting on your achievements and your personal growth throughout the year?
So I think I mentioned earlier that I journal like almost every single night before I go to bed. So I
Right.
still have my journal entries from the beginning of the school year, but back in January when I didn't have an internship, didn't have much going on. So I think sometimes just reflecting on where I was like earlier this year compared to where I am now really like contributes to my well-being, making sure that I'm telling myself like, oh, you're actually doing a lot more than like you think. Because sometimes I compare myself to others and I feel like I'm not doing as much as I should be doing and stuff like that. So I think if I just like look to how I was doing early in the year, I've actually done a lot more than I think I've done.
Yeah.
And then also with in other aspects like financial, that kind of thing, I track how much money I've saved over the year, just to make sure that I'm saving for the future and things like that.
Very, very cool. Do you have any like journal prompts or do you kind of just write what you feel?
I just write how I feel. Occasionally, I'll go on Pinterest and find like a journal prompt I want to answer, but most of the time it's just like a reflection on like how my day was, anything I failed in, or anything I achieved in, things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm the same way. I'm a really heavy journaler. I think I'm on this year alone. No, between the last 3 years, I'm on my third journal. So I am really on that same path right now where I'll just jot down anything I'm thinking. And I've also been like just talking to my journal as if it's my friend because I think it just flows so much easier that way. So I'd highly recommend journaling, and that's such a great point where you can kind of look back. I love looking back at like my 2021 journal, the same date of like, let's say I would go back on December 15th and I'm able to see what I was writing and what I was doing and how I was feeling. And I just like, I want to go back to her all the time and just give her a hug because it's like, girl, it was not that serious. Like you were going to get through it. And so it's just nice to have that self-reflection and see how far you've come. Bonji, what about you? How do you take this time for like self-reflection and just kind of going back on your own personal growth?
Uh, what I usually do is I like to look back at the classes that I took and just be happy that I passed them and be happy that I'm going to graduate on time. So
Yep. Yep.
just even if I didn't like my grade, as long as I passed, like
I
I'm
know
proud.
that's right.
Yeah.
How do you celebrate your your milestones in the gym as well? Because I feel like that's something I am like a big celebrator of everything. So I'm like, I feel like you should celebrate those too.
Yeah. Whenever I hit a new PR, I like to take myself out, treat myself.
I
And
know that's
yeah,
right. Oh, I love that so much. I'm the type of person like once I hit a new PR, like everyone's gonna know about it. So my way of celebrating is like literally screaming it from the mountaintops because like I'm the strongest woman in the world. That's crazy. I love that. And so to round this off, I'd love to, and I think we're gonna go to, I think I'm a little early, but we can go to anyone who has questions in the chat. But just one question I have to all of you guys, and anyone can jump in here to start it off. But what advice would you have for students who may feel pressure to continuously work throughout the entire break?
I can go first, but I feel like I'm being a bit hypocritical as I'm still working over break. But I feel you should be doing little to no schoolwork over the break because you will definitely burn out in the following semester. And burning out will probably be very detrimental to your grades and stuff like that and your mental health. And I think it's important to remind yourself that during your school breaks, you have a life outside of school. You should be spending this time with your family and friends or delving into your hobbies.
I love that.
So as Chelsea said, I feel like understanding that self care is like a really important part of like this academic journey. So like taking time for yourself, relaxing, trying new things, and like I feel like this week like the break might pass, and then like you will still be tired for the next semester. So trying like to take care of yourself as much as you could during this break. Like you don't have like any assignments or anything. Do you like trying to like just rest enough?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Bonji, let's close it out here. Let's see what's some
yeah,
advice
I
you
would
got.
say that you definitely want to not burn yourself out by doing too much work over the winter break because I've done it before, like last year and like the spring semester after. I was really burnt out, and like I think 3 weeks into the semester, I was already like kind of tired of school. So
Yeah.
I learned the hard way, and I don't think anyone else should do it.
Absolutely. I'm a big believer in that. Something that we talk about on our own personal team is that we're not conducting brain surgery. We are not surgeons. So it's like our the pressure isn't on for us as it would as it would be in a different profession. So, if you take the time to take care of yourself, you shouldn't feel guilty about it. And we can work around it and the work will still be there after you're done. It's not going to leave up and leave or, miss any deadlines unless you have a deadline. But realistically, taking care of yourself is just as important as getting all your work done. I actually am surprised we have so many questions in the chat. So I'm not sure if they're just going to come up. Caleb, on your end. If not, I can just read them off. But the first question that I'm going to pose out there is Farouk asks, what are some things you wish you knew freshman year? If you could give your freshman year self some advice, what would it be? So on that same topic of advice, Chelsea, do you want to take this one?
Yes. I would tell myself I failed a class my first semester at school, and I think, oh, this
There we
change.
go.
Oh, there we go. Um, I would tell myself after failing that class that it was probably important for me to fail the class and experience failure because in high school I was used to getting all A's and stuff like that. And I think me failing the class like really helped me with my routine because back then I wasn't as disciplined as I am now. I didn't wake up at 5 a.m. to go to the gym. I was sleeping until like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I wasn't going to class. So I think me feeling that class was very important for setting me up in the future for getting internships and being able to budget my time correctly.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Absolutely. I think that's a great establishing that early on and just being as disciplined as possible as early on as you can really sets you up for success in the future. Bonji and Bridget, do you guys have anything that you want to add to this one? I actually can't see you guys. So
I would say that what was it? I didn't read the whole
I know,
question.
right? The question was, what are some things you wish you knew freshman year? And if you give your freshman year advice, how would you? What would you say?
I would say to set a schedule and a routine every day and stick to it.
Yeah.
Because I think, yeah, freshman year, I didn't have a schedule. I just did work as I went and woke up whenever I felt like it and went to sleep whenever I felt like it. And that's an easy way to get out of not really be disciplined and be on track with everything you need to do and have less time for other things like such as like meeting friends or go to the gym and things like that.
Absolutely. And then Boris asks, Boris asks if have you guys ever been burned out? And if so, how have you bounced back? I know Banji, you spoke about this earlier, so if you want to just quickly share how you have kind of bounced back from being burnt out.
So yeah, when I was burnt out last year, what I did to bounce back was talking to other people in my class and trying to get a good understanding of how they are doing in class and what's working for them to pass the class,
Yeah,
and studying with other people and just talking to other people, because when you're just behind a computer screen all day, it could be kind of bad for your mental health. So if you're studying with other people and talking to people, it definitely helps you feel like studying is less of a chore.
absolutely. Bridget, what about you? Have you ever been burnt out and you were able to bounce back? And if so, what'd you do?
I think I actually felt sick because I was like working too much, but I feel
Wow.
like falling sick like really like I mean I had no choice than to rest, but also like within that resting period I was also like able to like understand how important it is for me to rest like periodically rather than like wasting like a week resting when I could have been doing something like else. So like resting
Mhm.
like periodically so that it doesn't like I'm not really forced to rest like for a long period of time.
Absolutely. I think something that I've learned just working out ColorStack to avoid burnout is taking that time as early and as often as possible for yourself so that it doesn't end up becoming I feel like when you take those days early enough, then you're kind of putting it into this bank of like energy, and you just keep energizing yourself when you take those self-care days throughout the year so that you can avoid that burnout, because bouncing back is so much harder when you're fully into it than when you do it in like small chunks. And this is a question that I'd love for everyone to answer because it's just so interesting, especially in the day and age that we're going in now. So Jonas asks, how often do you guys try to disconnect from social media or the internet, and how has that helped you with your mental health?
So I usually don't have Instagram. Usually I deactivate at the beginning of the semester just to make more time for things that actually do matter to me in my schedule. And what was the second part of the question? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem. And how has it helped your mental health?
Oh, so making more time in my schedule for things that I care about has helped my mental health because I'm able to do those things and I'm able to spend more time with my friends. And just also with the imposter syndrome and comparing yourself to other people, you don't see it as much because you're not on social media. So yeah.
I love that. I'm trying to take a social media break now, so I'm going to take a page out of your to get out of here because it can be a little bit draining. Olabanji and Bridget, what about you guys?
Um
From You go ahead.
So for me, I always like pick one social media for the semester. So like for this semester, I'm mostly on TikTok, and I am careful of the things I watch. So I'm just there to have fun. So if it's not like making me have fun, then I don't watch it. So like being like intentional about the things I watch and like what like I take from the things I watch.
That makes a lot of sense.
So for me, during the beginning of the semester when there's not that much work, what I like to do is just delete the app Instagram or Snapchat
Mm,
and just not use it for most of the day. And then maybe at the end of the day, I could check it really quickly before I go to bed.
yeah.
And that opens up a lot of free time for me. And then around like midterms or finals week, to make sure that I'm, up to par, I usually just like to delete the app, like not delete my account, but just delete the app. And then when midterms are over or finals are over, I just get back on the app.
Hmm. Absolutely. Honestly, you guys are teaching me a lot here, and I'm gonna have to do the same thing. Jared asked a really good question, and this one is for Chelsea actually. He asked, this is more of a question for Chelsea. He said, but since Spanish is a lot of learning, how do you make sure to relax and still be able to learn about something that interests you?
So yes, Spanish is a lot of learning. I've been learning since high school. I think because I've been learning Spanish for 6 years, I've really been able to nail down like what helps me the most when learning Spanish. And because I'm taking Spanish minor classes, that kind of supplements some of my learning. But as far as my out of class, like helping me learn Spanish, stuff like that, just watching TV shows because at the same time I'm learning Spanish while also like relaxing, listening to music. I listen to Spanish music like in the gym or wherever, talking to my
Yeah.
friends in Spanish because I've been speaking for 6 years, I do have like a certain level of fluency. So sometimes it comes natural to me. And then joining Spanish speaking club again, that's balancing between my free time versus, or not free time, but something I like doing versus something academic.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
I love that. And there was one more follow-up question, which was, what are some of your top Spanish shows that you're watching right now?
I haven't started watching anything right now. I just finished Final
Okay.
Exam 2 days ago, but in the
Right.
past I've watched Money Heist or La Casa de Papel,
Yeah.
Elite, Vis-a-Vis, La Rosa de Guadalupe. I think that's all the ones I can name off the top of my head.
Nice. I do have one because there's one Spanish show I love. I think it's called Who Killed Sarah. I can't say it in Spanish, but that one's also a very good one. If anyone wants to try that one. And then to Bridget and Bonji, how do you guys get back on schedule? We can start off with Bridget, but how do you guys get back on schedule when you are not feeling it or you're just feeling overworked?
Um, so I would say that like if so during the semester maybe I have some work to do and I really don't feel like doing it. I feel like I take like some time back. If I need to rest, I rest. But also
Mhm.
I think that I have to do it and it's not like going to get done by itself. So like even though I feel overworked, I will rest for some time if there is time to rest, and then go back to try it again. Also like seek help from people, so like from my friends, from my professors, like trying to like find ways to make it easier for me to finish the work.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's great advice. Bonji, what about you? How do you get back on schedule when you're not feeling it?
When I'm overwhelmed, I like to take usually a day off. I try to see what day in the schedule works. So usually on Mondays I don't have any classes, and on Sundays I don't really have much to do either. So I just like to take either a Sunday or a Monday off just to like replenish and not do any work, not look at Canvas or anything like that. And then that usually helps me get back to work and back to being on schedule.
I love that. I'm kind of in the same boat where I'll take a day off or I'll just try to start slow. I think that's the best way that I've been able to combat it. It's just if I look like if I look at my schedule and I have a million things to do just by getting back on it after being off for a while, I'm gonna get too overwhelmed again and I'm just gonna lay horizontal and mute, y'all. So then instead I'll just do one thing on my to-do list and start really and try to ease myself back into it in order to get back into my regular routine, and hopefully over time I kind of catch up to myself. And so for the entire group, I'd love to hear like what some of your favorite self-care activities are. Let's see, Chelsea, you can start it off.
I'm trying to think what I do for self-care since finals just ended. Making sure to sleep 8 hours is something I've been doing. I DoorDashed a lot during finals, not because I didn't feel like cooking, but because usually I don't order food during the school year to save money. So just treating myself to like food was something that was important. And then also doing, because I live in Atlanta, because I go to Georgia Tech, there's a bunch of Christmas stuff like around Atlanta. So my
Yeah,
friends and I, we took I think 3 days throughout the like end of the semester to go do Christmas stuff around Atlanta. So those were like some fun things I did.
I love that. Bonji, what about you? Or Bridget?
So for me, listening to music. So I just like be playing loud music in my room for like the whole afternoon, like trying to like just dance or like do something, and also going out with my friends. So
Yep.
I mostly don't do any work on Friday. So like I spend the whole Fridays like resting and also like hanging out with my friends and taking some time off to leave the school like community. So like I can I feel like when I'm resting in school, I still feel like I'm under some kind of stress, like leaving the school community for some time to
Yeah,
like recharge and come back. Yeah.
that is fabulous.
What I like to do to rest and recuperate is I just like to go to the gym with a couple friends
Right.
and listen to music as well. Um, Try to broaden my music taste as well. Ask my friends any songs that they know. That helps with stress. And
Mhm.
also, usually Friday nights, going out to nice restaurants with my friends. I like to go to New York to look at other restaurants there are to
Yeah.
go to.
Bonji, let me know if you need any recommendations. I'm actually like a restaurant connoisseur. I have named
Really,
myself,
I
but
think so.
I love it. Absolutely. And I think we have Caleb, you can let me know if we have a little more time, but I'd love to end on this question because this is something that I feel like we all kind of feel, and we touched on it before. But there's usually this overwhelming feeling of guilt when you finally what you call it, there's usually this overwhelming feeling of guilt when you're giving yourself just like much needed breaks. So how do you kind of combat that guilt? Hannah asked this question where how do you combat this guilt? And I'm gonna add on to it and just like what do you tell yourself when you're relaxing, but those like thoughts creep up back into your mind? And it's like, oh no, I should be doing this, that, and other thing. Like, how do you tell yourself like, I deserve this?
I think
Yeah.
for me, I go back to like what I've achieved so far, and I'm like you really deserve to take this break. Like you've worked for it. So I feel like I have like some work day off. So like I've worked this amount of days. So I need like you've earned this days off. So I should take this rest.
I'm like, I hope everyone's writing this down so you can tell yourself these are going to be used as affirmations next time. Anybody else? You guys have what do you guys tell yourself when you are when you need it when you're feeling guilty about giving yourself a break?
I usually try not to feel guilty because I just know that if I don't take these breaks, I will burn out. And it's hard to come back from a burnout versus me spending maybe 2 hours doing something to like relax myself. So I just keep reminding myself like it's just better for you to take the 2 hour break now versus you have to deal with yourself burning out and it will take longer for you to recover from that.
110%. 110%. And Vanji, you want to round us off?
Yeah, for me, I like to just experiment. So if sophomore year, I didn't really have to. Let's say if I took a break like Saturdays, Sundays, like over the weekends, and that's worked for
Yeah.
me, and that's made me pass my classes. I just keep doing that until I don't pass, and hopefully that doesn't happen. So I just usually just stick with what works.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Well, thank you guys so much for being on this panel today. Your insight was super helpful to me, and I know it was helpful to the members. So thank you for letting us some of your time. I hope you guys have a wonderful holiday. And before we even end, I really want to just remind you guys of this amazing quote that I said at the beginning, just to hopefully take with you. Self-care is giving the best of you instead of what's left of you. Hope you guys take this on as you head into your holiday break, and wishing you the best. Thank you guys so much.
Hey, thank you so much to the student panel. Let's give it up for them one more time. I hope you're seeing all the hearts, all the love coming at you. Thank you so much for sharing your experience with us today and just like your motivation. That was a good quote. That was a quote. I was like, so what? So I should, okay. Thank you so much to Liana for facilitating that. Y'all, that was our Fam Friday. Can you believe that? Can you believe? Can y'all tell me what was your favorite part of the day before we leave? Let's talk. Let's talk together real quick. Yeah, no, it was self-care is giving the best of you instead of what's left of you. Please. Yes, I love the fireside chat, the panel. Okay, it's giving fireside chat and panel. Like both of them are winning. I love that. Y'all, we are at the end of our Fam Friday. Our last Fam Friday of the year. Super excited to get into it back in January. But for now, if you have any feedback that you want to share with the ColorStack team, we haven't pinned to the chat a feedback form. And that is super helpful for the team to know what do you want to see next time? Exactly how Rami and Jerron was talking about, well, this new feature was created because the people in ColorStack are saying that they need it. That's kind of how this feedback form would help Fam Fridays, ColorStack in general. So if you have a thought, if there's something you want to see, anything like that, that's where you're going to want to put it. For now, make sure that you are following ColorStack.org on Instagram as well as on LinkedIn, and follow me, Michelle Adana, on all the platforms, as well as tap into the merch store. Okay. ColorStackMerch.org. Super cute, super comfy. Maybe next time we'll twin. #ad, #yes. but it's like organic because I love it so much. You know what I'm saying? And for any giveaway winners, the ColorStack team will be reaching out to you next week, following up on some steps on how to get your prize. But for now, y'all, I don't want to say goodbye. No, you say you hang up. No, you okay. No, hang up. Thank you so much for being with us today. We truly, truly, truly appreciate you taking the time to invest in yourself, to invest in your community, and truly like you guys are just leveling up. You're leveling up. You're about to enter this year with so much amazing energy. For folks that were struggling this semester, you got it. You got it through. Like, let's move forward. Let's think about that. Let's also take care of ourselves and make sure to take a deep breath. All right. Thank you so much, y'all. Take care. I'll see you next year. Bye.